Welcome back to the channel. Today the portfolio is sitting at about $1.1 million. As you can see, we are down from the all-time highs. So the market has been rallying. The market has been all-time highs. I'm going to be talking about NVIDIA's earnings as well. But in this video, I'm going to talk about how I think that I'm going to position my portfolio going into Q4 of 2025. Yep. So you can see over here, I'm actually not at the all-time high, even though a lot of people's portfolios are actually very high right now. I'm about 1.1. So I'm down at actually about 200K from the high, which does not feel great, but then again, it's fine. It's fine. Like we move on with life, and as time passes, it should go up over time as well. Yeah. Um, Certain updates about the portfolio: did not buy anything new. I was contemplating buying a bunch of Bitcoin because Bitcoin. Let me just show you the pricing. Um, Bitcoin is actually a down a bit by about I think 12% or so. So I mean, it looks very high from here, but if I just go into the 1 year chart, for example, it's actually down a bit, like from 123 all the way to 111 basically. So I'm thinking about buying some. Okay, now it just went up to 113. And the thing is like the market itself, right? The stock market and the crypto markets are not 100% correlated, but then again, you got to see both sides of the equation. Where is the M2 money supply? Where is the liquidity going and stuff like that? So if you can see on the 5 year chart, right, like the S&P is at all-time high, and I believe a lot of people have deployed a lot of cash, right? So markets went down for the tariff situation, and then it went up all the way, and then you can basically see like money just went back into the market, right? Just everything just went sky high, and everybody who's sitting in like big tech is obviously winning. um, yeah so like everybody seems to be very rich, and usually when people are very greedy and stuff like that, you probably want to hold off and stuff. So how do I actually think what's going to happen? So let me just give you the stage of what happened, right? If you're not aware, so like Jerome, my dude Jerome, the homie, right, he basically suggested that rate cuts are coming up. So like the interest rates were basically very high. They want to basically reduce the interest rates, and Trump has been pushing for it. And so whenever the interest rates basically go down, it's cheaper to borrow money. So the companies in the S&P 500 and every company in the world can basically borrow a lot more money from the banks, right? The banks will basically make less of an interest from the companies, but companies can like, because it's just cheaper to borrow, so they just borrow a lot more money, and that's how you stimulate economic growth and stuff like that. Yep. So when that happens, right, most of the time, um, majority of the companies that are in the stock markets, for example, they will go up, because what happens is that money becomes cheap, and then you basically flood the market with this cheap capital right here. Yeah, that's basically what happens. Yeah. And so I would expect that, for example, now, like, we've never seen a $4 trillion company. Today we have seen, I think in a year's time it's probably going to 5 trillion, right? So there's no worry in terms of like, if you're gonna buy this stock, there's absolutely no worry about that. Yeah, but the thing is like, if you can see my own portfolio, right, I actually don't even hold NVIDIA anymore, even though like I should, because it's like free money. It's almost free money. I do hold Google and I hold Amazon. Yeah, but I sold off my NVIDIA and stuff. I have about AMD, you can see here. And so AMD, yeah, it's a good trade, right? I'm up about, maybe, is it 20% or so, from a 7,000 to 9,000 basically. Yeah, but a very very small amounts. You can see it's like almost non-consequential to the outcome, if that makes sense. Yeah. So when that happens, I do expect, because they're not going to cut immediately. They're maybe going to cut in like September or October. Um, and then I think the earnings for Q4 and stuff like that, they're gonna be really bad. So like there's gonna be consensus that there is a recession coming. And if you know any medium to small business, for example, if you've talked to actually the entrepreneurs running it, it's actually a very very difficult situation. Yep. However, the people at the top, right, the top will always win, right? So the top 10 names, all these guys are totally fine. And yeah, um, when everybody becomes scared, basically, usually you go to the top. The money floods to the top, because the top is like, they're always winning some way and they're always making money. So these people will probably, their valuations will get stretched even more, I would say. Yeah. So if you're actually looking for opportunity, like this, you can close your eyes and basically like pick one name, and you should be fine. You should be fine. Yep. Okay, let's just talk about NVIDIA earnings as well. So like, because NVIDIA takes up a majority market cap of the entire S&P, basically they actually beat on their earnings. So let's kind of look at it together. So revenues of 46 billion. So if they do this every quarter, they can make $200 billion in revenue. Basically, it's up 6%, single digit from quarter one, and then up 56%. Okay, we don't care about this. Data center revenue is up, and then Blackwell is that new chip basically that is up as well. And then if we go and see, okay, there were no, okay, so they did not sell any of the H20 stuff, which is basically the chip that is licensed to be allowed to sell to China, basically the lower tier chip, but they did not sell it this past quarter. So you could kind of like estimate that then in the next quarter, right, they could actually sell more of these chips, basically. So the reason why like NVIDIA, like you don't really have to worry about it if you're holding the stock, especially if you're long term, right? It's because their customers are the biggest customers in the world, right? Like NVIDIA, everybody who buys from NVIDIA is basically all of these guys right here. And so all of these guys, if you think about it, their cash flows, they are just they're just very, very strong. They're very consistent. So you don't really have to worry about revenue from this guy right here, because this guy is he's the shovel. He's selling the shovel to the gold mine, right? And then all of these guys are basically paying this guy at the top right here. So all of these valuations are basically supported on the same story that AI is going to break through, AI is going to have productivity gains and stuff like that. So I do expect that, yeah, this company is going to continue to hit earnings, but I believe the headlines was that they did not supersede earnings. Yeah, because in the past they used to blow out revenue, they blow out profit and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can see during the first half, they returned 224 billion to shareholders. So they're starting to buy back stock, basically, which is an indication that you have just too much money and then you don't know what to do with it to do R&D and innovation, but just it's good for the shareholder. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So expected to be 54 billion, margins 73, 75%. Okay, we don't care about the tax rate and stuff like that. Yeah, but all around, like Nvidia, like I think the stock didn't even move. Like you can see, okay, one day change 2.44%. Yeah, so this company is definitely going to a $5-6 trillion market cap, very very soon, basically. But when it was hitting 1 trillion, sorry, 2 trillion, I remember I was thinking like this company can grow, can like how big can it grow? And like it has definitely grown to there, right? So whenever you're investing, like Nvidia, if you just want to protect your money, I would say this is a fantastic company, purely because it's like, yeah, it's gonna go up regardless. And if they're gonna lower the interest rates, for example, they are going to basically flood the market with more money, more cheap money, and then they're just gonna buy up all of these stocks right here. Yeah, so it's a surefire win, and you can see the revenue has been increasing consistently over time. So it's like extremely consistent, very good growth. Yeah, got nothing bad to say about this company. That's why they are kind of the biggest, right? Yep. And yeah, so in a sense, from my portfolio, what am I going to do? So over here, this crypto company right here, a Bitcoin treasury company, I do expect that there's a bit of a drawdown, which is basically happening now. People call this a drawdown, but it's like barely 10% or so. That yeah, like I think like Bitcoin and the crypto market, it's gonna move like in a horizontal position. So it's called consolidation, where it just basically goes nowhere, and then afterwards it'll spike up when the interest rates gets cut and stuff, right? So actually, Bitcoin increases when there's uncertainty in the world, and when the governments basically start printing money. Yeah, so that's basically what happens when Bitcoin is yeah, that's what happens to the Bitcoin price. So for this, I'm just gonna hold it, and I hopefully can go back all the way to break even. I'm even considering buying some of it, buying some more, maybe like 20,000 more, because I have about 87,000 in cash, and then yeah, hopefully I can, yeah, maybe within a year, within 2 years, for example, this position will 2 to 3x. However, if I really like make some money and the crypto winter is coming, right, I'm definitely gonna sell this position right here. AMD, like all of these stocks, right? I am okay. These two right here, I have no qualms about holding it. I'm just gonna hold it for the long term and basically do nothing. Like it's the most boring strategy of all time. For ELF, for example, this is too small a position, but I just wanted some position. But you can see I'm actually up almost maybe 30-40% over here. So I mean, I'm just gonna hold it after, yeah, and we should just see what happens, right? For FBTC, for Bitcoin, I am going to sell this if we actually like market top. If it hits like 150K, I'm definitely going to sell. But if it's very clear we're going to a crypto winter, I'm going to take my gains and then I'm going to sell, basically. Okay, for Google, it's the same thing. For Google, I don't really touch this position. Like, I like this position. I may buy more in the future or what if I have enough cash to unlock in the future or somewhat. But yeah. And then in terms of HIMS, this one is a telemedicine company. If you do not know, let me just show you the. So HIMS is a telemedicine company. This is basically one of my biggest holdings right here, and I hope that yeah, this goes to a 20 billion market cap right here. So now it's below 10 billion, and yeah, the reason why I'm bullish is because every single quarter they somehow manage to basically increase yeah, they managed to increase their revenue every single quarter. You can see the past 5 years, for example. And the thesis on this is basically I'm betting on that um, this company right here makes money because the population is aging. And in the US is the biggest market right here for them. Yeah, they're basically making the most money from their market, and they started acquiring some companies in Europe as well. So the healthcare narrative is a narrative that I 100% believe in. Everybody doesn't want to have children. It's too expensive to do anything, so they're gonna spend money on themselves basically. Yeah, and yeah, I do foresee that this revenue, even though like it decreased for this past quarter, the only reason why it did so is because they had some issue with GLP-1, and then I believe Novo Nordisk, which is another healthcare company. Let me just show you guys. Um, yeah, another company basically sued them and like some patent or something for the drug. Yeah, but you can see Novo themselves are like struggling. So yes, yeah, in terms of him as well, this is like an ecosystem, right? They don't only sell fat loss drugs, they sell like a multitude of different things. So I'm very bullish for the next actually 3 to 5 years. You can call it 10 years or so. And I do believe that this company is the type of company that is very similar to Spotify. So if you see Spotify, they charge maybe like I don't know, $10, $15 a month for subscription music, right? And for a very very long time, they basically were going nowhere. Their market cap was like up and down, up and down. You can see this right here. And then eventually the investors understood the story, and they really consistently grew revenue. You can see they consistently grew revenue over time. And it's not that every single quarter is a great quarter. There are some quarters where you can see it's a down quarter, it's a flat quarter, and it goes up, and it's a flat quarter and it goes up. So like I'm expecting um hymns to basically do the same thing. Okay, wait, I can just show you on the compare chart. It's easier. Yep. So these are fundamentally two very different companies. One is in music subscription, and then the other one is in like telemedicine and like drugs and supplement subscription, right? So both are subscription, but the gross margins, yeah, they're just different, right? This one sells music, and then they pay their music labels, the licensing fees and stuff like that. And this one creates and sells drugs and supplements, and then to manufacture that they have fixed costs in terms of a factory, raw materials and stuff like that, right? So there's varying amounts of difference in the business model. But if you can see, um, on a quarterly basis, right, I see the trajectory as similar per se. That this is a $133 billion company. Obviously, this is a technology play, so this like way bigger than this at this point in time. And of course, the revenue is also way bigger. But at the same time, it's like I do see that their growth is quite similar in the sense that every single quarter they just try to do something new, 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 and then they find a growth trajectory. And then sometimes you slow down, right? Sometimes you slow down. It's totally fine. But over the long term, you can see this because this is a 5 year chart, right? You're able to grow the enterprise value very, very steadily, and eventually you get profitable, right? You get profitable, you make some profit. In the same way here, you can see Spotify, like they struggle to make profit. Sometimes they make profit over here, and then suddenly they have a profitable business and they're growing. Yep. Um, yeah. So obviously this is, you can see it's like almost what 20x the revenue. That is totally fine because the healthcare niche and industry is gonna grow bigger and bigger over time. Yeah, and I do believe that this company can actually become like a $50 billion company, and we can definitely retire. But at the same time, yeah, this is just basically my rant on these two companies. If you're interested to go and research for yourself, go ahead. Yeah, and then afterwards, Robinhood right here. So Robinhood has been a fantastic trade for me so far, but at the same time, I am aware that at this point in time, Robinhood is a bit, I wouldn't say overvalued. I would just say like the room for growth, like it needs to wait for the growth to come back, for it to justify the valuation or like the growth in the stock price. So at this stock price right here, at this valuation, yeah, it's pretty stretched. I will not lie, right? 91 billion is pretty stretched. Um, yeah, and the PE for the last quarter, for example, at 53. Okay, this is based on last quarter's earnings, so it's like not the PE like right now, but at the same time, it's like I can see the same story kind of unfolding where you can see like the revenue. Okay, this I believe this was the crypto trading bull run, etc. And then they just slowly start to figure out how to increase their revenue over time. Yeah, the great thing about this company, the reason why is like valued so highly, right? Is because as a technology play, the profits are very very big. So you can see here. Okay, I think this is maybe some acquisition or something, but their net income, their net margin. Okay, maybe you can find the net margin over here. Yeah, the net income margin is what 14%. 14 negative. Oh no, 510. Okay, never mind. Yeah, basically they're just a much more profitable company than a physical products company because they sell. They're basically a marketplace and exchange, right? They are a stock exchange, a crypto exchange. Yeah, so naturally you can see the stock price has already increased and climbed massively. So I'm not gonna pile into to this position. I'm not gonna buy more. I'm just gonna hope that this company, yeah, over the next 2 years, for example, it could go to a 150 to $200 billion company, right? And I do believe it's gonna get more valuable over time. And I believe interactive brokers have also entered the S&P 500. If I'm not wrong, let me just IBKR stock dips. Yeah, I believe, yeah, you can see Interact IBKR joins S&P 500. So I do believe that Robinhood will definitely get to that point as well, where they are included into the S&P, and then naturally the funds or all the big funds basically have to buy into this thing, and that helps the stock price as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's another position that I have. I'm just gonna hold. It's a good company. I'm gonna hold. And Microsoft, yeah, I don't really need to explain this, but yeah, it's everything should go up. It sounds like a bubble, but yeah, when interest rates get cut, right? I just want to make sure that in this period of time, from August to September to maybe even October, there's going to be a consolidation period, which I expect, right? I do expect like the stock market is not going to be very interesting. It's going to maybe even have some down days that are very, very big and stuff like that. And people are getting scared. And then when people get scared, right, I've seen this like multiple times. It's like the institutions, they will bully your way and then they'll sell everything and then everything should go up once again. Yeah, for some reason, they like to do like, they basically like mess around with people's psychology, even on the Bitcoin side, where it's like, yeah, we just pretend like we're selling everything and then we buy everything up, right? So they sell just to make sure that they buy in again, and then they get it at a cheaper price. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I think we just have to be patient with the strategy. Maybe get some more spare cash from somewhere. Um, work harder at the job, work harder at the business or whatever it is, and then take that money and then put it back into the markets. But yeah, I don't expect a full blown crash. Um, but I do expect a mini crash, like a 25% crash. It could go into a 30% crash. But even if it does, like, okay, we just buy more. Yeah. All right. So I think that's my guidance, or like that's what I think is going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. But feel free to give your comments down below as well. And then feel free to let me know what you think as well. So that's what I'm positioning. I am going to buy more, especially for the Bitcoin positions, because I'm expecting Q4 happens. If I'm wrong, if I lose money, it's fine. But yeah, most of the time, if you wait a long enough time horizon, just like this, something will naturally happen, and it usually goes up. It never goes down. Yep. The stock market is rigged, by the way, so just letting you guys know. Yep. All right. See you in the next one.